What's worse, though, is that Columbia. Well, thank you all for being here. We all know what is happening around the country right now, and House Republicans are here to do something about it. Over the last few weeks, we've seen absolute lawlessness and chaos on college and university campuses across America. On Wednesday of last week, I and a handful of my colleagues traveled to Columbia University, which became the epicenter in the last couple of weeks, to meet with Jewish students there and to see the madness that's happening there for ourselves. The anti-Jewish hatred was appalling. We heard firsthand from students who are living in fear because of the pro-Hamas agitators who have taken over their campus. We met with a large number of Jewish students before we had our president there and before we met with the university president. And they told us the harrowing tales of what they're having to face. It's not right, and everybody in this country knows it. After I met with President Shafiq, it was clear that she has lost control of her campus and she needs to step down. The first and most obvious responsibility of a university administrator is to ensure the safety and security of their students. If an administrator cannot ensure that, they have missed their first assignment. We need to find people who can do that. Just last night, there at Columbia, students barricaded themselves inside one of the academic buildings. They fought with the maintenance crew there. They assaulted students. They broke through windows, destroyed property, hung intifada banners in the building. And the law enforcement was nowhere to be found. We're told that NYPD
You mean like when
outside the perimeter of the campus,
Trump supporters attacked the Congress?
and they won't go until they are invited. What are university officials waiting on? What do they need to see before they stand up?
Martha Stewart had to do time.
And that is exactly what they
So
are.
does Trump.
What's worse, though, is that Columbia's choice to ignore the safety of their Jewish students and appease anti-Semites has inspired even more hate-filled protests to pop up across the country. And what we're seeing right now is people wave Hezbollah flags and Hamas flags, their homemade signs supporting what happened on October 7th. It's outrageous.
I mean, like,
Hamas endorsed
people will support what
Columbia University. Just about 2 hours
Trump did to the
we walked out
Capitol.
on the steps to have our press event on Wednesday. They're proudly chanting things like "Death to America" and profanity and hate-filled slogans. And this is
You mean like what the Trump supporters did to the Capitol?
Anti-Semitism is a virus, and because the administration and woke university presidents aren't stepping in, we're seeing it spread.
Mike Johnson?
House Republicans will speak to this fateful moment with clarity. We really wish those in the White House would do the same. We will not allow anti-Semitism to thrive on campus, and we will hold these universities accountable for their failure to protect Jewish students on campus. And that's why today we're here to announce a house-wide effort to crack down on anti-Semitism on college campuses. Nearly every committee here has a role to play in these efforts to stop the madness that has ensued. Joining me today are my colleagues in leadership, as well as committee chairs of the committees of appropriate jurisdiction. And we're going to elaborate on what we'll be doing as part of this whole of the House effort. The federal government plays a critical role in higher education, and we will use all the tools available to us to address this scourge. With that, I'll turn it over first to our House Republican Chair, Elise Stefanik, who's been doing extraordinary work on this issue for a number of weeks.
Thank you so much to our speaker. I want to thank the speaker as well as Chairwoman Fox for visiting Columbia last week to highlight leadership that is sorely needed and lacking when it comes to these universities. I also want to thank the speaker for making this a priority. It is clear that Jewish families across this country, Americans across this country, are looking for moral clarity and are going to deliver when these higher education institutions have failed. As I said last night at Columbia, America lost in disgust as President Shafiq allowed an anti-Semitic pro-terrorist mob to storm an academic building, holding faculty inside, flying pro-Hamas signs, and damaging property. Joe Biden, far-left Democrat governors, like my home state of New York,
You mean like the Trump supporters did to the Capitol?
have allowed this moral rot of anti-Semitism to fester, refusing to enforce the laws and the safety of Jewish students. And it's not just Columbia, this is a moral rock that has taken root across American higher education institutions. At Yale University, Jewish students stabbed to die with a Palestinian flag. At the University of Southern California, graduation was canceled due to the university being unable to guarantee the safety of students. Jewish students were barricaded at the library at Cooper Union. At my alma mater, Harvard University, a Palestinian flag was hoisted at University Hall where the American flag always flies, in clear violation of university policy. There are dozens of these anti-smoking campaigns across the country. These mobs are breaking university rules, leading to the targeting and harassment of Jewish students and faculty. In December, at a hearing chaired by our Education Force Chairwoman Virginia Fox, we exposed just how ingrained anti-Semitism has become at America's so-called elite institutions in higher education. When I questioned the presidents of Harvard, MIT, and Penn, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate your university's code of conduct? One after the other, said it depends on the context. It is now the most viewed congressional testimony in history. 8 days ago, I was the first member of Congress to demand that Colombian President Shafiq resign for her failure to disband the anti-Semitic mob consuming Colombia's campus and her failure to ensure the safety of Colombia's Jewish students. Instead, she chose to use the self-proclaimed terrorist, allowing the anti-Semitic mob to grow. Enough is enough. It is time to restore law and order, academic integrity, and moral decency to America's higher education institutions. Joe Biden has been deafeningly silent. So I want to thank again the Speaker as well as all of our chairs who will ensure this is a top priority for House Republicans. There can be no moral equivalency. It is time to send a clear message to the world that anti-Semitism has no place in America.
How about anti-Trump has a place in America?
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our whip, Tom Emmer.
Thank you. Our House Republican Conference is here today to deliver a message to the pro-terrorist anti-Semites taking over our college campuses.
You mean like the Trump supporters?
We're here to deliver a message to university administrators who have chosen to be complicit in these movements for hate rather than taking action.
You mean like
We're here to
Trump
deliver a
supporters?
message to Hamas, Iran, and members of the squad, including my Minnesota colleague Ilhan Omar, who have all endorsed these anti-Semitic protests that enough is enough. Accountability is here. Our college campuses should never be breeding grounds for anti-Semitism. Yet that is exactly what they have become. Why? Because of university administrators who have refused to protect their Jewish students. Because of faculty members who have enabled the wave of anti-Semitic violence. Because of an administration that has tried to play both sides of this issue. And because of far-left members of Congress who are applauding anti-Semitism on college campuses. In other words, because we have a Muslim don't agree or refuse to do the adults in the room. On no one else is taking up the I want to thank Speaker Johnson and our committee chairs for providing much needed accountability on an issue that has been met with a disturbing amount of indifference and even encouragement from the people who are supposed to keep our students safe. The world is watching to see how we respond, and I, for one, am grateful to be part of a conference that will be on the right side of history. And with that, I turn it over to our leader, Steve Scalise.
Thank you, Whip. Since October 7th, when a terrorist organization backed by Iran, known as Hamas, invaded Israel.
You mean like the Trump supporters invaded the capital?
Of anti-Semitism. Obviously, in Israel, we saw a war declared on them. Israel said, no one can defend our state. And you saw, by the way, these colleagues here and so many of my House colleagues stand and say, we support Israel's right to defend themselves as a Jewish state. But something else alarming that you started to see happen after that is when we started taking action here. And that is when you started seeing anti-Semitism grow here in the United States, here on college campuses, and in fact, here on the House floor by some of our colleagues on the other side. And we've been speaking out against it.
Trump
This
supporters.
is an area where you have to learn from the mistakes of history. Because if you don't learn from the mistakes of history,
Trump history.
we're all doomed to repeat it. Let's not forget what happened in the lead up to World War II. And so when you see some of the things that these, whether you call them terrorist sympathizers, anarchists,
You mean like Trump
they're
supporters?
organized. When they show up and they all have the same kind of tents, when they all are from out of state in many of these places where they're showing up. It's an organized mob trying to ensue chaos and breed
You mean
anti-Semitism.
Trump supporters?
And if we don't stand up against it every place we see it, and more importantly, if we don't call on those people whose main job is to protect the people that they're tasked with looking over. Look at these college
Like Trump?
presidents. You know, and we're asking all of our committee chairs to look into the billions of federal taxpayer dollars that go to these universities. And part of the reason it goes to these universities is so they can provide a good education for their students, so they can provide a safe environment for their students. And if these presidents won't provide that safe environment, then those university presidents need to go.
Like Trump.
They need to resign. And we've been very vocal about calling on them to step down as well, because they're not
Trump.
only failing their students, but they're disgracing the universities. Many of these universities that have long and storied reputations that are being tarnished. Many of them permanently. Students and parents that won't even send their kids to these schools anymore because their kids are no longer safe. We're seeing it play out today on many campuses across the nation. But here in this House, with our majority, we're going to continue to hold these people accountable for the money that they get and for the failures.
Just like Trump should be.
If you look at what happened, and Elise touched on it a little earlier, over 1 billion people watched that video that she talked about. Over 1 billion people watched a congressional hearing. I'd like to think there's interest that high in every congressional hearing we have. But America's watching way more than that the world is watching. And so we need to continue to show the moral clarity between right and wrong and call out anti-Semitism and attacks on Jewish people and anybody else for their faith as for what it is, and stand up against the people that are doing it. And leading the charge, the person who had the first hearing in her committee months ago is the chair of the Education Workforce Committee. Somebody's tough going after the people that are doing all of this for human rights.
I want to thank the speaker also for making this an all of the House issue. It is an all of the House issue. It's an issue for our country. As Republican leaders, we have a clear message for mealy-mouthed finance college leaders. Congress
You mean like
will not
Trump?
tolerate your derelict school duties to your Jewish students. American universities are officially put on notice that we have come to take our universities back. I applaud the speakers of Standing Committee on Education and Workforce's ongoing investigation into a Congress-wide initiative. No stone must go unturned while buildings are being defaced, campus dreams are being captured, or graduations are being ruined. College is not a park for
Anything happened to the Capitol, lady?
or a battleground for radical activists. Everyone affiliated with these universities will receive a healthy dose of reality. Actions have consequences. One of the consequences is that I have been noticed to appear to Yale, UCLA, and Michigan to appear before the Education Workforce Committee on May 23rd for a hearing on their handling of these most recent outrages. I look forward to working with my fellow House leaders on additional actions to address these riots, and I yield to Frank Lucas.
How about Trump riots?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Speaker Johnson, for taking action on this important issue. Right now, Jewish students facing harassment, discrimination, and uncaged violence at our colleges and universities. Anti-Semitism is unacceptable, and it goes against who we are as Americans. We entrust our colleges and universities with conducting scientific research and educating the next generation of leaders and individuals. We can't do that when students are being driven off of campus by shocking displays of anti-Semitism. What's more, universities that can't protect their students are not in compliance with their funding obligations to the National Science Foundation. Funding to the NSF accounts for about 25% of all federal support to American colleges and universities for basic research. As a part of the conditions of receiving taxpayer dollars through the NSF, universities must comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin. Schools like Columbia and UC Berkeley annually receive more than $50 million each in NSF grants. It's time we review whether universities that allow the harassment, assault, or intimidation of their Jewish students are in compliance with their federal obligations. We'll be looking to conduct oversight on this issue very soon. Thank you for your time here today. I now turn to my colleague, Chairwoman Kathy Moore-Sargent.
I echo my colleagues' words. I appreciate the leadership of Speaker Mike Johnson in bringing us together. We must do everything that we can to ensure the safety and well-being of all students, faculty, and staff, including those of Jewish heritage and faith. With broad jurisdiction over energy and public health, the Energy and Commerce Committee oversees agencies that massive amounts of taxpayer-funded research grants. For example, in fiscal year 2023, the National Institutes of Health have given around $682 million to Columbia University, $409 million to Harvard, $508 million to USC, which just canceled their graduation of violence improvement, $73 million to George Washington University just down the street. We will be increasing our oversight of institutions that have received public funding and cracking down on those who are in violation of the Civil Rights Act. I'll leave you all
You
with
mean like Trump?
imagine being a Jewish American, knowing that part of your hard-earned paycheck is going to fund an anti-Semitic professor's research while they threaten students and actively document and radicalize the next generation.
You mean like Trump
Please
did?
yield now to the chairman, the chairman of the Jewish Heritage Committee.
Earlier today, the Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee sent two letters, one to Secretary Blinken, one to Secretary Mayorkas, asking three fundamental questions. Questions we as Republicans in the Congress want to know, and maybe more importantly, questions I think the American people want to have the answers to. First, how many students on a visa have engaged in the radical activities we've seen now day after day on college?
How many fucking
How
Republicans
many have engaged in this activity, endorsing or
been
inciting
radical?
terrorist activities on
terrorist
college?
Trump ship?
Question two, if you know that number, have you, the State Department, have you asked the State Department to revoke the visa, to revoke their visa? And then third,
Revoke your censorship.
If you've done that,
Revoke your own representative.
have you started removal procedures? Those are
Get out of
the
here.
questions that on the Judiciary Committee that we want the answers to. Remember, on September 30th, 2021, Secretary Mayorkas issued his guidelines for immigration enforcement. And he said in there that national security threats are a reason, of course, to remove people from the nation.
Like Trump and all the representatives
The
that
overriding
support
question
Trump.
is real simple. Are individuals advocating for the destruction of our dearest and closest allies, the state of Israel, and engaged in this anti-Semitic behavior, is that a national security threat?
Trump
We think
is.
it is, and we think we deserve, American people deserve
You are too.
the answers to those three fundamental questions. So now yield to the Chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Chairman Smith.
Let's start out with just saying these colleges and universities enjoy generous
Yeah, what about Trump?
under the U.S. tax code. They have a responsibility to the American taxpayer to ensure that they are fulfilling their educational requirements as tax-exempt organizations, as well as protecting students from intimidation, harassment,
What Joe?
and violence. Sadly, too many colleges and universities have failed to hold up their end of the bargain. They have failed the test. They have allowed anti-Semitism to flourish on their campuses. Their
You have a
inadequacy
wild
has emboldened
anti-democracy to flourish
Jewish
in the
students.
House and
As the Ways
Representatives.
and Means Committee, we have been investigating the issue for months. In a hearing last November, we examined the nexus
Now you want
between
Trump back to
anti-Semitism,
the same bullshit. Listen to you now.
universities, and terror financing networks. During that hearing, we heard vivid testimony from a Jewish student from Cornell about how she feared for her life amid the death threats being made to Jewish
You
students
mean like
on
the
the campus while the university leadership was
people
telling
who
them
did
they
support Trump?
couldn't be worried. We sent letters to the university leaders demanding
Care about
information
that, do you?
on what disciplinary action, if any, that they have taken against those
How about disciplinary action against Trump?
violate campus policy. We called on them to disclose any donation or funding they have received from foreign governments as well. Our investigation has already produced more than 1,500 pages of documents that we are now actively reviewing. We will not stop until we get answers, until Jewish students can feel safe, and until these universities are held accountable.
But Trump gets a pass? Yeah.
The failure of Columbia University to address the pro-Hamas mob is an appalling lack of leadership. Now we are witnessing copycat anti-Israel protests pop up.
Appalling lack of leadership all of a sudden becomes an issue. Well,
or anything
Trump.
organic. It appears global elites are funding these hateful protests and pop up hit cities. These are the same groups that fund other radical agendas, including diminishing
Like Trump.
America's energy production and pushing soft on crime policies that harm the American people. The House Oversight Committee will follow the money trail, expose it
You mean
to
like
the
the
people,
Trump?
and seek to hold bad actors funding hate accountable. I want to thank Speaker Johnson and House leadership for coordinating this, and the House Oversight Committee looks forward to working with other committees to investigate this serious problem. I yield back to Speaker Johnson.
It's time for the moment of democracy.
From the chairs of a number of the most powerful committees on Capitol Hill, you had oversight. You heard from the chair of Judiciary, Science, Space, and Technology, the House Education Workforce.
Big deal, Mike Johnson. What is this, SNL? It's a joke.
And you'll hear the leadership team deeply involved
Leadership.
as well. We got to get down to the bottom of it. We have to root it out.
Oh, yeah.
Congress has two
Just like
really
Trump, right?
important responsibilities that will be fulfilled in this exercise. One is oversight, and that's a job that we have, and also, of course, the use of
Unless
the
it-
first. We need accountability
Yeah.
for those who cannot maintain order.
Yeah, like Trump, right? Accountability if people cannot maintain order. Like Trump. Accountability. Martha Stewart had to do time. Big House. Trump's gonna have to do more time in Big House for what he done.
For yourself, and do you challenge President Biden to the Columbia as well?
Yeah, I do. In fact, after we left the
Biden hasn't done shit, and you want all over him, but your own Republican Trump president fucked a bunch of shit up. You don't even seem to give a fuck. Get out of here.
We felt like there was a vacuum of leadership there, and it was
Yeah.
an important moment for us.
That's a joke. Vacuum of leadership, Mike Johnson. Eat your words. Look in a mirror.
About what this is. Moral clarity is the phrase that you've heard from us. You'll continue to hear it. This is not a gray issue. There is right
Moral
and wrong.
clarity. He's
There's
laughing.
good and evil in life.
What a
We need to
joke.
call it out for what
This
it
must
is.
be
I
SNL.
think this is a time for decisive leadership. We're living
That sure isn't Trump.
We do not have time for weakness. And anyone who has a platform for an elected office, I believe, has a duty and a responsibility to speak to it. So, yes, we're proud. We told them the truth. They didn't
All the
hear that.
Timbals have turned.
That's okay. The American people need to, and we'll continue to do that.
Congressman Bacon is quoting a censure resolution against Congressman Elon Omar for the comments he made about some Jewish students being pro-genocidal. Would you
This
support a censure
is so revealing.
I think that speech is detestable. She's on exactly the wrong side of the issue. I haven't spoken with Congressman Bacon about the censure resolution.
Too bad.
Look at it. Look,
We ought to be
we're-
there.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. I think when you're calling for the extermination of a race of people, which is exactly what many in the crowd are calling for.
You mean like people who aren't Trump supporters?
The protest at Columbia University is because they were using Hamas talking points. They're talking when they chant from the river to the sea. You understand? They're talking about the elimination of the state of Israel.
That's what Trump does.
Putting posters onto
Trump basically is what you're talking about. You just can't see it, Mike Johnson.
Imagery that the Nazis used in the 1930s. They're literally the same symbols and messages.
Yeah, like Trump.
This is not the free expression of ideas. This is not the use of the free marketplace of ideas for debate that would be healthy on the university campus. That's envisioned for a place of higher education.
Trump is like the Heinz ketchup ingredient they got rid of.
And it's dangerous.
After we found out it was bad for you.
Administrators to be dangerous, as evidenced by their cancellation of classes. They told Jewish students it wasn't safe for them to come to campus. And then they came back with the hybrid model, which made it even worse. So ostensibly, if you're non-Jewish, you can attend classes and come and...
You mean like if you're non-Trump?
But if you're Jewish, you might need to stay in your...
If you're non-Trump, you're a piece of shit, Mike Johnson.
And we need clarity on the issue for leaders at the university level, at the local,
clarity.
state, and federal level.
Yeah.
Enough is enough. We have to bring
Not like that.
Talked about anti-Semitism on the world stage. We've seen it in the United Nations. We've also seen it now with the International Criminal Court. Can you elaborate a little bit? You put out a statement about the International Criminal Court bringing possible charges against Israeli leaders.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous development. You're seeing an all-out assault on the state of Israel and
how about all assault Trump on our own democracy, bitch?
It's unacceptable. The ICC, for them to take the step.
ICC, you won't lick a 40-ounce bottle, Mike Johnson.
A minister of the country who's in the midst of a war for the survival of his nation.
Eat your words, motherfucker.
And I will tell you, I spoke within the last hour to Secretary Blinken.
Put your lips on this.
And he confirmed that the position of the White House is our position as well. I'm glad that they are affirming that, and I suspect they will do that publicly later today. They are calling
Me too,
for the
lady.
to stand down.
The fuck
Mr.
you
Cohen,
are.
who's in charge of that, has hinted that
Sexy.
he might be issuing
I'm sexy.
the warrants.
Get out of here.
And they better not do that because that.